ancestral territory of the Leni Lenape, the real people. This was and is Lenape land, a reality all of us who have come here must acknowledge. Even as we gather virtually, we're gathered in relation to the New School and Pratt Institute, which stand on the unceded land of the Lenape peoples who have been dispossessed through settler colonialism and who struggle to this day for the repatriation of their ancestral lands. I ask you to join me in acknowledging the Lenape Nation, their elders, both past and present, as well as future generations. This acknowledgement calls upon all of us, including our institutions as a whole, to commit to dismantle the ongoing legacies of settler colonialism and proactively fulfill our responsibilities in materializing decolonization and land rematriation. On behalf of our partners at Pratt Institute and the New School, welcome to the next session of Communities Beyond Crisis. My name is Juan Camilo Osorio. I'm an assistant professor at Pratt Institute's Graduate Center for Planning and the Environment. We are a department within the School of Architecture composed of 4 master's programs: City and Regional Planning, Historic Preservation, Sustainable Environmental Systems, and Urban Placemaking and Management. Our mission is to provide a professionally oriented education to a student body with diverse cultural, educational, and professional backgrounds. Using a multidisciplinary approach, we teach participatory practices as the best way to support and advocate for justice and equity. Students graduate equipped with the theory, technical capacity, collaboration skills, and radical thinking abilities necessary to plan ethical, healthy, resilient, and inclusive communities. The partners for this event include the Pratt Disaster Resilience Network, a student-led initiative focused on addressing systemic and intersecting crises through efforts to elevate community expertise, hold space for learning and growth, and create a lasting network of partnerships within and outside of the Pratt community. The Tishman Center Environment and Design Center, the Environmental Policy and Sustainability Management Program, and Professor Leonardo Figueroa Helland at the New School. Thanks so much to all individuals whose work has made this series possible. Communities Beyond Crisis is discussing the ethical, political, and technical opportunities and challenges associated with planning for disaster risk reduction and recovery. Special emphasis has been placed on the prospect and implications of participatory action research, agroecology and food sovereignty, the contribution of grassroots women leaders in disaster situations, efforts against racist disaster recovery practices, and the experience of immigrant and indigenous communities in the recovery process. Today's event will be followed by a panel on April 22nd at 6 p.m. Eastern Time that gathers exemplary indigenous resurgence projects from across Abiyala and Turtle Island, the Americas. Committed to the defense, repatriation, and nurturance of territories of life, these projects advance communal reciprocity through cosmovisions of indigenous land-based sovereignty and self-determination. Such projects are real decolonizing solutions to intersecting endemic crisis of health, environmental climate, food and systemic violence, including state and corporate violence. The panelists that day include Jose Gualinga from Quechua peoples of Sarayaku, Causac Sasha Living Forest from Ecuador, Juan Jose Lopez Negrete and Mileida Correa from the Association of Indigenous and Afro-Descendant Fishermen and Peasants for the Community Development of the Bajo Sinú in Colombia, Neftali Reyes Mendez and Angelica Castro Rodriguez from Services for an Alternative Education and Communal Alternatives for the Defense of Territory in Mexico, Stephanie Morningstar and Kaka Ibaire from Northeast Farmers of Color Land Trust, Turtle Island, USA. Please join us in this panel as they share their complementary visions, strategies, and pathways for systemic change. Okay, should be ready to begin. So please join me in welcoming our speaker for today, Josephine Castillo, or Yocas, is a community organizer and founding leader of SOFP, a federation of 235 community-based organizations across the Philippines. Following Typhoon Haiyan, she created a multi-stakeholder consortium in Tanauan Leyte to address women's recovery and construction concerns by creating revolving loan funds, rotating use of construction tools for women-led housing repair, and negotiating for permanent settlement of displaced families. A couple quick housekeeping items before we begin. The speaker will present for 35 minutes. I'll then make a question or two to open the discussion, which will be moderated by Sophia Hu from the Pratt Disaster Resilience Network, taking questions from the audience. So everyone, please use the chat to submit your questions from this point on. Yocas, please take it away.
Okay, so good morning. Thank you, Camilo. Good morning and good evening to everybody. I know it's evening time in the US. So again, I'm Jocas. I'm one of the founding organizer of a grassroots women-led organization we call DAMPA, or Solidarity of Oppressed Filipino People. I've been working in DAMPA since 1995, and we started working for the security of tenure of people living in the informal settlement. So during disasters due to climate change, one of my best and the biggest experience that I did was after the emergency response that I did during Typhoon Haiyan. But before all of this, I want to introduce myself more deeply. So I'm an organizer, and now at the present, I'm one of the project manager of DAMPA nationwide. I'm one of the governing council of Wairo Commission, because DAMPA is a member of Wairo Commission, and I've been a global civil society advisory board of UN Women, and also appointed by the president, our president Benigno Aquino Jr., during his term as one of the commissioner representing Orbampor in the Philippines. So as of now, I'm working here with the people living in the rural areas and urban areas here in Leyte and Samar. It's a province in the Visayan region in which I'm managing programs and projects of DAMPA in partnership with different UN agencies and SIDA. SIDA is Swedish International Development Agencies and Wairo Commission, and we're working on resilience building of our grassroots communities. So as of now, since 2013, I'm working in recovery and rehabilitations of Typhoon Haiyan affected families. And we do projects. We have like community housing repair tools that are managed by our grassroots organizations and the local government unit in the barangay level. We also do here in the recovery, for economic recovery, we have livelihood projects in which our organization, the grassroots organization, are the one managing their livelihood projects, and we do savings mechanisms. One of our legacy of DAMPA is that our 67 active members as of now nationwide are doing savings mechanisms. And we also have, like, for food security, we have organic farming and communal garden. It is nationwide, not only here in Leyte, but also in Manila. And these pictures, if you can see, these pictures is during our General Assembly here in Tanauan Leyte, and it is attended by almost like 100 to 200 grassroots movement representing 30 grassroots organization in Tanauan Leyte. Next, Camelo. And that is our pictures with some of the key leaders here in Tanauan Leyte. And if you can see, there is a white woman standing there in the center. It is Sandy Shellen, our executive director of Viral Commission, who visited our area during 2016 visit in order to see what is happening in the recovery and rehabilitation of Typhoon Haiyan affected families. So, our examples, what we did, because as of now, because of disasters due to climate change, DAMPA strategy is that we organize grassroots communities, we do networking and do coalition building with different organizations that working and facilitating resilience building of grassroots communities nationwide. And one of the biggest network that we are a part of, and we are one of the convener, is the Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction Network that is working for policy advocacy on disaster risk reduction policies. And then we also do like partnership with different grassroots organization, with different stakeholders like the local government unit. And one of the legacy of DAMPA is that we are involved in different advocacy, and we're also involved in different policy advocacy spaces, and we're part of as a partner, and we are trusted by the local government and other government and private agencies. Because of their trust, we are managing some of the projects and programs that we access from the local, from the barangay, down to national level, and even to the global level. The global level is that the United Nations. So we are also as a partner, as a trusted grassroots women-led organization partner of the UN agencies. We are facilitating projects and programs in partnership with UN Women for Safe Cities campaign. And we are now facilitating the sexual harassment in public spaces projects. Okay? And if you can see, these are grassroots women that I'm facilitating meetings. So if you are an organizer, so you need to, to maintain the organizations, and you need to visit them in their communities in order them to be, to be inspired what they are doing. So if you can see, I have a different kind of works. As an organizer, as a project manager, I have, we have staff, we have community organizers that facilitate issues and concern of our organizations. So due to climate change, as I told you, due to climate change, we have a different strategies that we're doing. So first, organizing grassroots communities. Second, we do savings mechanisms. Third, we do partnership with different stakeholders from the barangay to national level up to global. Fourth, we do building coalitions and networks. Okay? And then in Dampa itself, we have community gardens. If you can see, this is a communal garden of one of our grassroots women in one of the barangay here in Tanauan Leyte. So through this, our grassroots women can avail, can access fresh vegetables, and they can also earn some money because they sell vegetables in the market if they have more vegetable that they gather from their gardens. Okay. And then We also facilitate housing. One of our housing projects in Samar is that the people were affected by Typhoon Haiyan and they are living along the seashores. They are living besides of the rivers and creeks, and they are in the danger zone. So what we did is, because they do savings mechanism, we partner with Vincentian and we to let them transfer to a permanent settlement. And with their savings that they have, they bought the land in partnership with the Vincentian, and now they own the 2 hectares of land. And in the future, they will build their houses through their savings mechanisms. We have also like uh, food banks, especially this pandemic. You know, savings is very important, and we use it during pandemic as part of their food security to live and to survive during lockdown. And through this savings mechanism, our communities can, you know, can provide, our grassroots can provide food for the members from their savings mechanisms, from their savings that they have, they earned. And we do food banks in our communities. These food banks are like they can buy cheap and fresh vegetables, canned good dry goods, and there's no need of the people going to the market to have them risk. It's very risky for them because there's a lot of people there. So food bank is very useful during pandemic as part of the emergency response that we did in the rural and urban. So in the urban areas, we also have, like in Metro Manila, we have 3 food banks. And in Leyte, we have 2 food banks. And in Samar, we have also 2 food banks. These food banks are, they use the money that they have in their savings, and through Wiro Commission and Swedish International Development Agency, they leverage our savings. We put money there, like 25,000, and the organization, the grassroots women, are the one managing the food bank. So that's why they can sell, and our communities can buy food from that food bank. We have also like organic farming. This organic farming is in Laguna, and this farming is in partnership with the local government in Cabuyao, Laguna, and the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. At the university are the one who teach, who trained our leaders to learn how to do organic farming, that there's no need of making like pesticide, but they are trained to use organic fertilizers in order to be safe, to have a safe environment, and it's environment friendly. We also do like we have in Metro Manila. Sorry if I have no pictures here. In Manila, we have this water cooperative. This water cooperative is the one our organization do savings and partnership with the local government in Manila City, and they access fund from the local government and leverage their savings, and now they access safe water to drink, and there's no need of delivering water to their communities. And through this water cooperative, they use the money in the cooperative in the construction in their community, some drainages, and they also use the money for like small enterprises, and they use also their money in the cooperative as a member. They can use it for tuition fees of their school children, and then they also constructed some pathways on their community. So if as an organizer too, we need to, we need to facilitate some issues and concern of our communities who are suffering from sexual harassment in public spaces. So through this, we do partnership with the UN Women, and we facilitate these projects in the city to is out some SHIPS projects, sexual harassment in public spaces. And we have now a national law. We call this bawal mambastos. It's not allowed, to do like whistling, uh, bawsi in the public spaces. We started that in Quezon City, and now we replicated in other cities in Metro Manila, and it was in partnership with different stakeholders from the national government to local. It became a national law now. But we started it in Quezon City through our intervention, DAMPA, and in partnership with UN Women. And even in disaster risk reduction policies, we are a part of that because we do partnership and collaboration networking with different organizations that need to advocate policies for disaster risk reduction. And now we have a law and we succeed. This advocacy on disaster risk reduction policy we call now Republic Act 10121, which is Disaster Risk Reduction Act of the Philippines, in which DAMPA, as a grassroots women-led organization nationwide, become a part of this advocacy network, and we won this law to be approved in the Congress and in the Senate. It was 2010, in last 2010. So it's one of our legacies that we did in terms of advocacy, policy advocacy, local and national level. So we also have like partnership in terms of accessing projects in the rural areas. Like during COVID time, we have the egg laying projects with our grassroots women organization here in Leyte, and our grassroots organization access programs, budgets, money from Department of Social Welfare and Development, and they are managing egg-laying projects in which our grassroots women, our grassroots community can avail cheap and fresh eggs. And it helped a lot on their, as an income generating projects of our grassroots women during pandemic. So it's not a problem that our communities have different strategies in order to survive and to have a livelihood sustainability during pandemic. So as of now, we are also organizing partnership with different local government unit in order to be a part of recovery plans that for COVID-19, because as of now, you can see it's a global issues that this pandemic actually affected our livelihood, especially poor people. And what we did as as a national organization, and we have a cloud, and we have partners from barangay level to national level, because they trusted us as a partners. We are now working in different cities and municipalities and part of the municipal development or city development council, and become as a part in this kind of spaces. We are involved in doing recovery plan for COVID-19. So it's very important for us as a grassroots woman that we will be recognized and trusted as partners, so that our our ideas as grassroots women, our ideas and suggestion for recovery plan will be included in the comprehensive recovery plan in the city and municipalities, as well as in the barangay level of our government. So as a partners, it's need, if you want to be recognized as a grassroots organization, it's very important that you are organized, you have numbers. What I mean, you have people, you have an organization with numbers, and you do programs and projects managed by our organizations. Okay, so that's the time that we can build a cloud, a political cloud, and you can be trusted and recognized. And if you are recognized and trusted, you can, as a grassroots organization, you can access resources, programs, and projects from different stakeholders. So it's one of the strategies that DAMPA is OFP is doing at this time. Actually, DAMPA started during the massive demolition of grassroots organizations in Bitastondo way back 1995. We started organizing and the issues of security of tenure. And now, while it was becoming longer and longer, now it is already 25 years, we facilitate different issues and concern of our grassroots women. We do, what do you call this one? A bottom-up approach, not top-bottom. We do bottom-up approach. Why? It's very important if you want to have a successful grassroots organization that we say it is inclusive. We need to always consult the grassroots people, grassroots women, grassroots organization, in order to have a comprehensive like recovery plan, like during disasters. So it is also important, like in resilience building, we do risk mapping. You know, this risk mapping, we involve the local government, the people in the communities, and the barangay officials. And during risk mapping, the people are the one who do the mapping. And and also we involve the government in the barangay level. Why barangay? Because the barangay level is the lowest level of our government, in which they are the one who are visible in the grassroots communities. So we need to involve them in all this process in resilience building, like risk mapping. And during risk mapping, they are involved so that they will know what are the risk vulnerabilities of our grassroots communities in their barangay. So after the risk mapping, we do contingency planning, including this barangay. Why? This is a good strategy so that they will know what are the vulnerabilities and risks of their communities. And so the people can access and they will assess and give some resources to the communities in order to have a resilience building plan in their own barangays. And it's also a big help, a big assistance for them as a barangay officials to have a camaraderie, a good relationship, a good governance in their own barangays. But this is not in this is not a process in all barangays. This process is just successful if the organization are organized, if the community are organized. And why it is very important? It is a women-led because the women, the grassroots women are the one who are in the communities and less evil, what they do, less corrupt. Women are, they are more, I'm not saying men are not involved. We have also men in our organizations. But men are our support group. Most it's women who are working, who are leading our communities. And we have a successful policy advocacy. We have successful programs, maybe because they are the one who are focusing in the communities who are in their house. Some of them who are not working are 24 hours in the community. And their husband are the one in the working, right? So it's the women who are the best leaders to be, just give them capacity building. So one of our strategy is we organize and give capacity building, train them to be empowered. The grassroots women need to be empowered so that they will learn things. They will learn the rights as a grassroots women, as women. So it's not only in resilience building, in Dampa, we do holistic. We're not only building resilience in terms of like to be prepared, but also in housing or livelihood, but we need also safety in the public spaces, safety of our grassroots women in their houses. So we also advocate violence against women and children in partnership with the United Nations Trust Fund and United Nations Women, UN Women. In resilience building, we partner with Swedish international development agencies. These agencies and human agencies, we were recognized because of WIRO Commission. Yes, Dampa is a member of WIRO Commission since 2014 for almost like, I think, 8 years. Not only I think 8 years. Sorry, but I think it was since 2009. We've been a partner of WIRO, and through our global network, WIRO Commission, we were recognized and we were trusted by different UN and funder agencies. So it's very important that if you want to be empowered and to build cloud, it's very important from the local, you need to connect it local, national, regional, and global through partnership with different networks, international networks. So that's okay. In recovery, in Typhoon Haiyan recovery, what we did is because our people in Typhoon Haiyan, some of them are not yet organized. What we did is we assessed them and their issues and concern. And then we do partnership with different international organization like the Buddhist Foundation, Korean Network, and then the local government in Tanauan, in Leyte, and Samar. And we access some programs like in rebuilding our communities here in Leyte. We access like materials for recovery, like for housing recovery. We access housing repair tools from the Buddhist Foundation, and it is managed by our grassroots women and the barangay officials. And these housing repair tools were used in building their houses, rebuilding their houses. And we have also this community center, which was also funded by the Buddhist Foundation, and we buy a land through Japan Habitat through Wairo Commission. And we have now, actually this is not yet finished, the community center, because we have no enough fund, because the fund of Buddhist Foundation is just building this structure, and then we are now the one who will do something to finish this community building, community center. So the recovery, it is very important that we need to consult and we need to partner with different stakeholders in order to have a recovery programs, in order to be recognized, in order to build your rebuilding and recovery, not only in housing but also the livelihood recovery. So it's important that we are organized. It's important that you are recognized, and you have partnership from the local to global level. And it's our experience. That's why we access programs like Carabao. We have milking Carabao that we did. And even now, in pandemic recovery, because of partnership, we access programs like livelihood programs, and we access also like a food relief from our partners. And this one, if you can see, we are distributing here money for livelihood recovery. And these are leaders from our communities. They are the one. And until now, what we did from Haiyan, way back 2014, we give them 25,000 as a revolving fund. And now you know how much money they have. They have 100,000 of money already in their local organization. And they also continue savings. And now they have different kind of projects. They have different kind of livelihood and income generating projects in their own communities, that they are not too independent or dependent to other outside external assistance. So during pandemic, they can use this revolving fund under savings to have a livelihood or income generating programs, projects in their own community. So if you can see, this is in the rural settings that these are barangay officials who are with HAT. These are barangay officials who also distribute money for livelihood assistance to our members of DAMPA. So in the recovery, it's very important that you are involved in all the process. The grassroots communities must be involved in all the process. Not only they will be given recovery projects, but also we must be involved as a grassroots organization, grassroots women. We must be involved from planning, designing, consultation, up to the implementation. And that's why we have a successful livelihood programs in our communities. Our dampa is OFP communities. Imagine we are already 25 years facilitating and organizing our national federations. So I think this is all at this time. I want some questions and clarification from the participants so that I will say something, or Camelo, maybe you have some questions. I'm
Absolutely.
ready to, yes.
Well, first of all, please everybody join me in thanking Jokas for such a thoughtful and inspiring presentation. Thank you very much, Jokas, for that. And congratulations for all the work that you do. Thanks so much for joining us today. I will start with maybe one question, and then I
Yes.
will pass this on to Sophia, who will be reading questions from the chat. So everybody, this is your chance to submit your questions so that they can be read for Jokas. So Jokas, you've talked about the importance of and the important contribution really of women leaders in different aspects of grassroots organizing and planning. But I wanted to ask you, why did you personally started working on this? What happened? When did you decide that this is what you wanted to do?
What motivate me?
Exactly.
Who motivate me? Okay. It's a good question so that you will know my history, my organizing history. Okay? So actually in Metro Manila, I'm living in one of the informal. What I mean, I live in a place where we don't own the land. And as a leader, I was working before with the government as a military intelligence. Because I finished criminology in my bachelor in college. So I got married and we built a small house in an informal settlement. So because it is in the city, Quezon City, there was a threat of demolition and it was organized. We were organized by Coke Foundation. Dennis Murphy he's a Jesuit father who is the founding organizer in the Philippines. He is one of our founding organizer, Dennis Murphy. And because we have a threat of demolition, they organize our community. And that's the time that they they learn from me and they saw me and they think that I have the skills to be an organizer. So they trained me as an organizer. Because on that time, I resigned in my work because I don't want to be dictated what I will do. So because military is different, right? And I have small children on the time, so my husband don't want me to work, so I need to stay in my house. So because I'm one of the leaders in our community and I want the agitated women to work to have a permanent settlement. It was way back 1985. It was way back 1985. And Cope Foundation, Community Organizing of the Philippine Enterprise, you can search that in the no. They have a website and they before, but now there is no more Cope Foundation. You can see that I was trained by Cope Foundation as a leader, as a grassroots leader, and then I was trained as an organizer by the group of Dinky Suliman. Dinky Suliman is one of our secretary during Arroyo administration and what do you call this, Aquino administration. Dinky Suliman become the secretary of Department of Social Welfare and Development. So from that time I organized my own community. And after a decade, imagine after a decade, of struggle, organizing, and we do local to local dialogue, we do networking, we do partnership with different people so that we can access fund, you know, to buy our land, and we get a success through community mortgage program of the government. The government bought the land, and we pay our land for 25 years. We pay our land to the government. So we call this program Community Mortgage Program. It is funded by the National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation. It's a government agency that finance in accessing, buying land of the urban poor, rural and urban poor people. This program was organized. It started after the EDSA revolution, way back 1986. It's one of the policies that was created during EDSA. So, and it helps a lot. So now we own our land. Oh, I did not give you the pictures of our community. So now we develop already our communities, and we already pay out. What I mean, it's already paid out because it's already 2000. We started, it was, what do you call this one? It was awarded to us the 3.2 hectares, 32,000 square meters land was awarded to us. 421, we are 421 families. It was awarded to us in 1995. So I started there, and then I also one of the organizers who get inside the massive demolition in Smoky Mountain in Bitas Tondo, and it is where Dampa started. In 1995 also there was a sudden demolition because I'm already one of the organizers. There was a sudden demolition, a vast demolitions of thousands of families in a Smoky Mountain. And because of this inhumane demolition, it was a learning, and so that's why we organized an organization that will fight the security tenure of urban poor people. We started to facilitate organizing a national organization from 17 organization, and now it is called DAMPA, SOFP. We formalize DAMPA, DAMPA, Damayan ng Maritang Pilipino, API, or in English, Solidarity of Oppressed Filipino People. We organized this organization way back and formalized 1996. So that's where I started. Are there some question or clarification more?
Thank you so much, Yokas. Sophia, please take it away.
Hi, Yokas. I just want to say again, thank you so much for sharing your work and experience with us. And to everybody here, please remember, put your questions in the chat. The first question that we got in the chat is from Yuri Chang, who is asking, how does your organization recruit members? Can you speak to your group's involvement with youth? And how do you keep people involved in long-term initiatives, particularly given the pandemic?
Okay. You know, it's very important that if you are building an organization, local organization, what I mean in the community, it is very important that the people have, what do you call this one? Ownership. That means you don't need to recruit. You need to have justification that you are doing. You need to involve the people. What we did is we do consultation with the grassroots communities, grassroots people. And then through this communication, consultation, because they are involved from the consultation up to what they want. During consultation, you need to know, we call this bottom-up approach. You will learn some of the issues and concern of the people. And the people will be the one to say what they want. So that's why it's very important to involve the people, not the external people who will tell you that this is what you need. In which it is not, it is not the right issues and concern that the people need. So it's very important that you need to involve the people from consultation up to implementation and even up to monitoring and assessing all the programs and projects that you need to develop the grassroots communities, and not only grassroots communities, but the communities. Huh? So through this, if the people are involved in all the process, they will have an ownership. And if the grassroots people, if the people have ownership to the organization, they will stay longer and they will be agitated to maintain the organization because they are involved and they know everything. They own the organization. That's why it's also very important that if you are facilitating savings, it's the people who will say, we want savings because in the future, we want emergency savings, we want to build our something like that or whatever. So it's one of the strategy if you are an organizer. Bottom-up approach, involvement, it will be, if you are processing any programs, it must be inclusive. You know, inclusive, everybody must be involved. Not only the people who want to develop the community. That's all. Thank you. Another? Did I answer the question?
Yeah, thank you. I think that was a really inclusive answer, and I completely agree. Ownership is so important. Our next question is coming from Gudega. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. They say, thank you for your presentation and work. Do you collaborate with grassroots women's groups and organizations in other countries? And if so, what are the shared interests and methods of collaboration?
Okay, so we have, as an organization, as a national federation, we are collaborating not only in the global, but we started collaborating with different like organization first in the barangay level. Huh? So there are some organization in the barangay level. If you want to have a comprehensive programs and development, you need to involve other stakeholders inside the barangay. And then we facilitate and we do partnership and we organize coalition. And if there's a need of coalition building, you need to do coalition building in order to facilitate the issues and concern of the communities, in order to facilitate the issues and concern in the city or in the municipality. So if you are in the municipal level, we also need to, involve some other stakeholders within the city. And if you want to be involved globally and regional in the Asian level, you need to be a part of a global network. Okay? You need to partner with other global networks so that you can have an exchange. So through Wiro Commission, we do exchange through our Grassroots Academy during some conferences. And even here, we have a Grassroots Academy via Zoom during this pandemic. And we learn things. We learn different strategies from different, like in Latin America. In Latin America, like the place of Relinda, they have this community kitchen. And we are now doing that community kitchen in Quezon City in partnership with the Quezon City government. We learn from them. And we learn from India, from SSP, the group of Gudabari, we learn the savings mechanism that they have. And through these exchanges with other organizations, other networks from different continents, we can replicate that in our own organization. That's why it's very important to learn. And if you're a leader and a member of an organization, you need to have an open-minded to learn. You need to have a will to learn from others. So open-minded and open and willingness to learn is very important as a leader. Sharing, you need to share also your expertise in order to, to expand more leadership from the local to global. And that's it. Did I answer your question?
Thank you, Yokas. Yeah, I think so. I actually have a question that piggybacks off of that. I was wondering, what have been the biggest challenges in successfully working with so many different stakeholders and different international organizations?
Okay. There are some challenges. You know why? How you need to, the challenge is that sometimes resources, but you need to learn different strategies in order to access resources. See, resources is very important in order to survive at this time. It's a big challenge, especially this pandemic. That's why it's very important that our own organizations will do something like savings mechanism. Savings mechanism, you need to have your own fund. Then if there are some international funder, then or local funder, national funder, then they will just leverage what you have in your organizations. Subsidize. And during this pandemic, a big challenge is the health wellness, especially to women, especially to children. I will share to you the challenges during this pandemic. One of the challenges to us as grassroots organization is the online learning. Because during online learning, not all people can avail data load. Not all people has a Wi-Fi in their house. Not all people have, have gadgets to use for online learning. So it's a big challenge to us and even to the government how they can, how they can access and communicate. But because this is a challenge, what we did in Dampa, I will tell you why we continue. We have a continuous programs and projects that we do in the community because we adapt the during it is a pandemic, so you need to you need to mitigate and adapt. So what we did so that we can continue working on our programs, we do different, what do you call this one, different communication platform, and we trained our leaders to communicate through how to use Zoom, how to use Facebook chats, video chats. And that's why in Dampa, since last year, we use from the local level, from our local organization, so there's no need of house-to-house, face-to-face meeting. We have a platform, we call this a local organization platform. It's a group chat through Facebook. Facebook, because Facebook is a very well known and everybody is using Facebook in the Philippines. So from the grassroots level, and we have the city level of group chats, and we have the national level. So if we need to have a national staff meeting, we need to use the platform on Zoom. And if we need to have a local organization meetings with the leaders, we need to, like a local organization, we need to use Facebook, or sometimes we use the Zoom. There are free Zoom in the website, but you can use it only for 45 minutes. And then you will again, online again. So that's the way that we are adopting our strategy at this time. Communication strategy, different communication platform.
Fantastic. I am. Thank goodness for free Zoom. I'm a fan of free Zoom as well. Our next question is coming from Omar, who's asking, what are some of the lessons we can learn from your experience in the Philippines to be applied globally post-pandemic? And also, you mentioned empowering rural communities. What do you think about urban migration and how it affects grassroots efforts in rural areas?
Okay. So actually, during especially pandemic, the people now who are leaving, who migrate to the urban, are now migrating again back to the rural. And it's their, it's their rights because they are a part of the rural. Because we're not only organizing urban, we're also organizing rural. So what we did, because if they go back, the migration here, we involve them. What we did is that we just told them, we have, our leaders are trained to, to be vigilant, because it's also dangerous if there are some migrating from urban at this time during pandemic to rural. We need to know them, so we have connection with the local government so that they will be, they will report first to the local government. And it's through our chats na, you need to, if they have not yet, if they return from the urban to rural, so they need to report to the local government that they are there, so that it's also a part of health protocol, so that the risk to COVID will not be, the people in the rural will not be will not be put in danger. So we also, we involve them, this migration. We also involve these people who are coming to the rural to be a part of the community if they want. Rural migration is must at this time, because in the rural, actually I will tell you, here in Tanauan Leyte, the COVID are managed well. So our COVID patient cannot go out, they are isolated. They are controlled. So because of the good governance of our local government, our local government partner the organization, so that they can help each other. Partnership is it's partnership, we call that dual. Dual partnership is very important. So that's why if you have a good governance, you will have a good management on COVID from the barangay to municipal level.
Definitely, I agree. Our next question is from Juan Camilo, who's asking, can you speak more about what happened with Typhoon Haiyan and what was the role of women in disaster recovery during that time?
Okay. The role of women is they help first in emergency response. The women are the one who are active in access, in giving relief, in the relief operations. They're the one who are active, our members. And because the women are the one who are, what do you call this one? Women are more, I think, capable because they know everything in the community than men. Because the men are always in the work. So the women are the one who knows almost, yeah, they know everybody in the, in the community. So it's almost women are the one who are doing everything during emergency response. We involve. Men are the the support group. Because there are some corruption during emergency response, especially in the relief operation. So it is good if you will involve the women. They are less corrupt. If they are corrupt, I think it's only like 1 or 2% out of, let's say, 100%. That's all I can say.
Thank you. Our next question is from Delaney, who's asking, in thinking about relocation post-disaster, what are the implications on the community from a cultural standpoint? What methods are implemented into the relocation to actively perceive the sense of community and the sense of belonging for people who have just experienced such a disruptive trauma in their lives?
Oh, that's why I'm telling you that if you have like recovery plan after disaster, you need to be inclusive if you are a funder, if you are a government agency, so that the people itself will be the one to say, we want to be relocated in this area. Huh? So it's very important. That's why here, if you will come to Leyte, you will see that the resettlement area of the people who were affected along, because they are fisher folks, huh? They were just relocated like uh 5 minutes ride from from their from their previous houses to the resettlement sites, because it's the people who tell the government that we want to be relocated just within the municipality. So they were not brought to far away places, just within Tanauan Leyte, which is just, if you will ride, it's 15 minutes ride. And then if you, 10 minutes ride from the town proper to the settlement site. As well as in Lawaan sa Samar. It's almost same. Because the people are the one who told to the government in order that their livelihood will not be gone. Because they are fisher folks and they don't know how to farm. So they need to go back to to their work. So they need to be resettled in just within city or municipal level of settlement, permanent settlement. Did I answer the question?
I think so. I actually have a follow-up question based on what you were just saying. So are a lot of the recovery plans able to find close locations, like settlements within like that 10-minute ride, or?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, if you will come, I'm agitating you to come to Leyte after this pandemic, and you can see.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Shifting gears a little bit, our next question / comment is from Carl, and he's wondering if you or your organization has ever worked with a different organization called, abbreviated PUSO, which stands for Purposeful Unconditional Service to Others, which is a nonprofit based out of his home state in Virginia, and it focuses it was founded by some of his childhood friends, and it does work in the Philippines regarding the disaster aid and COVID aid specifically.
Actually, I heard this group, but sometimes they are not in where we are. Sometimes this group are focusing in different areas, but I heard them. I know that they know our network. We have this disaster risk reduction network, the DRR net, and we are a part of that. I think they know that. It's an entire Philippines, but I think they are working in different regions where we are not there. We are working like in Metro Manila. Dampa is working in Metro Manila. And we are also working in the southern part of Luzon, like in Cavite and Laguna. And we are working also in Visayan region. And we are also working in Mindanao, in Surigao, in the Siargao group of islands. So I don't know where are they. And our networks, we are working with networks in Cebu. We are working with networks in Mindanao. I don't know, I think, I have not yet met them personally, but I think they are just working in other regions because, Philippines has different islands. So sometimes in order to have a good organizing, you need to focus in just in one island, not to go from one island to island because it's conflict.
Yeah, definitely. It's important to know kind of the radius of work you can maintain at a time. So since there's no more questions in the chat, just another reminder, if you have questions, please post them in the chat. And while we're waiting for more questions, I have an additional question. So earlier you were talking about the risk mapping, and you mentioned that you rely on the people in the community to help with those mapping efforts and mapping the data. And I was just wondering, so is there a wide like accessibility of this technology, or is it kind of dispersed unevenly? And does that pose any kind of issue or inequality for the risk mapping and risk planning?
Okay, in the sorry, I was can you repeat again the question? Sorry, I was looking at different angle, so there's a distraction there. Sorry, can you
Yeah, so is there, with the risk mapping, is there a lot of distribution of the technology needed for the mapping, or is it kind of hard to access for some communities, and does that pose an issue or any inequality for the risk mapping?
Okay, because we involve the barangay. The barangay also help to have some materials that is needed during the risk mapping. We do risk mapping like we group them, and there is a representative from the barangay, and it's the people who are who are making drawings, because we draw. I forgot to I forgot Camelo to send you one of our. I think I send you some of the pictures for risk mapping. No. Oh, sorry, I forgot on that. I have that in my phone. So the community people are the one who do drawing. They draw their community, and they're the one who are you are putting there that these houses are in risk, in red light, in red so they have different colors, and the materials we used are just the materials that can be found in the community. Like we have Manila paper, and we have crayons, and pencils. And if we need the help from the barangay, then they can they also give some resources. And we have that in the Manila paper, the drawing of the community. So it's what do you call this one? It's a dual partnership with the barangay, so they can also help. And it is successful if you will involve some government agencies, not only the barangay, who are available to be involved in risk mapping, because the government itself will learn what are the risks and what the people need, so they can also identify. So the people are the one identifying this is the risk factors that we have in our community. And even if we are a barangay officials, you will learn what the people need in order them to be resilient, in order to have a resilient communities, barangays.
Yeah. Wow, that is so important. And that's really great that everybody can help participate.
Yeah, it's a participatory risk mapping.
Yeah, which is so important. Thank you. Our next question is from Mike, who is asking, can you talk about the work being done in Mindona? I know there has been lots of conflicts there on that island, and would like to know how organizations take care of themselves and their communities.
It's a good question, because Mindanao is quite dangerous before, especially before, because of Abu Sayyaf, some rebels, But we are working in one of the, that's why it's very important that you need to, to partner with the local government before you organize. You need to you need, what do you call this one? So that you will recognize that you are working in their community. You need to go to visit the municipality, the municipal hall, and talk to the mayor, visit the barangay and talk to the barangay. So it's very important, the risk mapping. The risk mapping is not only done in the community, but it is also done by our national organization. If we want to, to expand our organizing, we also do the risk mapping, which communities, which areas in Mindanao is not dangerous. So that's why we have selected Surigao del Sur, which is not invaded by these pirates. Oh, see? So if you want to work, voluntary work, humanitarian aid work, you need to map out the risks and vulnerabilities of the area that you want to work with.
Thank you. We're getting close to the end, so I think we have time for one or two more questions. This one is
no problem for me. It's okay.
okay, great.
I want more questions.
This one is coming from Sami, who's asking, have there been times in which the government had inefficient policy or programs in place? And how do grassroots movements address these inefficiencies and get the government to change them?
Okay, so that's why it's very important that you are organized. If you are organized, wait, because my laptop will have a low battery. Sorry. Ooh. Okay, so that's why it's very important that you are organized in order to build political clout. It's very important to build a political clout so that you will be involved in making policies, because not all the government level are willing to work with the people. Not all. It depends on. In terms of dampa, sometimes we are politicized. That's why some organization cannot access resources from the government, especially in the local, from the barangay to the municipal level. It is well politicized. That's why dampa, we are a non-partisan organization. Non-partisan, that means we have no political colors. We can work with different colors and merge with them because we are non-partisan. What we did during election, our leaders, we just give political education. What we don't want that our members will be a part of political machineries of any politician, because you will be identified. And if you will be identified, like example, I will tell you, like example, if you will campaign to one of the contender of the mayor next year, next election, 2022. And then the one that you campaign is not the one who will win. There's a big effect in your organization, right? You can't access programs. It's difficult because you're not an ally of the mayor who won, of the politician who won. So that's why dampa, we can access and we can, we are a part of different spaces in policy advocacy and policy making from the barangay, because we have no colors, political colors. So it's very important to be in the neutral so that you can, you can work with different, what do you call it, political colors, political whatever. You can work with that. So it's one of our strategy as grassroots organizations. So that's why, like us, we are involved in municipal development council, so we can contribute some of the policies that we want that grassroots can benefit. Starting in the barangay, and now, because we are well organized and empowered grassroots leaders, we have barangay officials already, barangay captains who are members of DAMPA, and municipal councilors who are members of DAMPA, because we were empowered, and because we are organized, we we build a political clout in the whole municipality, in the whole city, and some of our leaders won as barangay officials, municipal councilors. Thank you. Did I answer the question?
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Our last question is coming from Abby, who says, thank you for your amazing talk and work. And the question is, where can you see the maps for the risk mapping? And can you talk about food sovereignty and also about popular education? Can you talk more on how intergenerational knowledge plays into your work?
Okay. Intergenerational. That means actually, DAMPA, we're not only focusing in women's, we're also organizing youth sector and the senior citizen, because it's a strategy to consolidate the whole communities. So we organize different sectors so that we will have a good governance within our communities. To have a good governance is a good practice. To have a successful development, successful programs that we want to have in our communities. So like in terms of the issues on violence against women and children. So we organize our youth, we organize our women's, we organize the senior citizen. I'm one of the senior citizen already at this time. I'm a senior one. I'm 60 years old. So and we organize the children in different partners. In organizing the children, we partners with, or what do you call this one? There's a group that focusing on children, and in partnership with senior citizen group, the OSCA group of the Philippines, we also organize the senior. And if you're organizing these sectors, you are building good governance in the community, as well as in the barangay and in the municipal level, as well as in the national level. So farmers and fisher folks, we also involve them, because like if you're in the rural, most of the people there are farmers, fisher folks. So we also organize, because fisher folks has different issues, farmers has different issues, right? So if you want to consolidate, if you want to have a progressive and successful programs and resilience, if you want to, if you're advocating resilience building, you need to involve all the stakeholders within the community.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Yilkas. This has been so informative. I'm going to pass it back to Juan Camilo just to wrap up.
Thank you so much, Sophia. And once again, everybody, please join me in thanking Yilkas one more time for such an inspiring discussion. Also, thank you so much for joining us so early in the morning for you in Manila. We really appreciate that. Thank you,
I'm
Yilkas.
inspired actually, Camilo. To everybody, hello everybody. I say, I'm inspired to be a part of your programs.
Thank you. Well, I also want to take this opportunity to thank Professor Aisha Yonder for introducing us to your work and the work of DAMPA and the Huero Commission. Thank you so much, Aisha. At this point, what I want to do is really just finish by reminding everybody that as we discussed earlier, today's event will be followed by a panel on April 22nd at 6 p.m. that gathers exemplary indigenous resurgence projects from across Abya Yala and Turtle Island, the Americas. Such projects are real, decolonizing solutions to intersecting syndemic crisis of health, environment, climate, food, and systemic violence, including state and corporate violence. Please RSVP for the rest of the series, which is this event, using the link in the chat. We really look forward to seeing everybody on April 22nd. One more time, Yokas, thank you so much. Good
Yes.
evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us.
I'm thankful to IC because and to Aero Commission. I've been a part of this. I'm very excited. Just tell me when again. if you want to invite me as a resource person, then I can.
Thank you so much, Yokas.
So,
we will.
yeah, I'm willing. I'm willing to transfer my knowledge. I want that many people, especially students, young generation, can learn about my experience in organizing.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
that, Yokas. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you very much to all of you. To New School, to Pratt Institute, IC, Camelo, you are the people who are connecting to me. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Good evening, everyone.
Okay, we're finished. Bye.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we're finished.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was really great.
thank you.